Hello, everyone, and welcome in. Today is Friday, May 3rd, and this is your daily card pull. So the week is wrapping up, and we're getting ready to head into the weekend. So let's see what all energies we have in store for you for today. We'll start, as always, with the couple of cards for the collective in general, and then I will be going through sign grouping by sign grouping and pulling some cards. As always, take only what resonates and leave the rest behind. If this is not matching up with your story, then this is just a message for somebody else for today. So I will be doing some additional videos over the weekend and into next week as well. So make sure that you hit that subscribe and notification bell if you want to be alerted as to when the new videos post on the channel. All right, let's jump in for today. What all messages do we have for the collective? We have Three of Pentacles, we have Seven of Wands in reverse, and then we have Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So our Three of Pentacles energy, sometimes this is seen as like a twin flame mission type of card, that with the Three Pentacles, there's one for divine masculine, one for divine feminine, and one for spirit as they all come together. So this is a collaboration, teamwork. This is also for those of you not on a twin flame journey, it's about kind of uniting your masculine and your feminine side. Everybody has their own internal masculine and feminine side. So it's how you tap into both pieces and bring that online with some sort of new project, new job, new activity, since pentacles are related to your resources. So remember, that's not only money, but it's also your time and your energy. Then when we have our Seven of Wands in reverse, this is a little bit of that sense of like burnout and like weakness and surrender. So it's kind of this sense of, okay, I've been trying to clean my toilet with a toothbrush. I'm done. I have nothing left to give. I'm burned out. This is a terrible way to go about trying to get your toilet clean. Then when we have our Nine of Pentacles in reverse energy, this is a little bit about overspending and overextending yourself. So again, since pentacles can be your time and your energy as well as your money, it could be that you're just running yourself ragged. And I'm trying to remember, I think yesterday's reading, I think both of these cards came in, or actually, I guess the Nine of Pentacles, I think, was in the reverse, but I think Seven of Wands was coming up in the upright. So this is now flipped over to the reverse. So it's kind of like, oh my gosh, I am so burned out of putting forth all this effort, all of this effort. But there is this encouraging sign with the Three of Pentacles that there is this collaboration that's coming in. There's some sort of teamwork. There's some sort of joint mission that's coming in. So don't lose heart. Let's go ahead and jump in. We'll start looking sign grouping by sign grouping to see what additional messages we have. We can pull some additional cards too. Let's start today with our air signs. So that is going to be our Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and what wants to come through for you for today. We have Death in reverse. So this is a little bit about clinging to an old cycle. The Death card is going to be about something needs to come to an end, like the end of some sort of thought pattern. This is not as big and dramatic as when you have the Tower, but Death, it's about a sense of something's ending and you have some rebirth. In the reverse, it's like there's some resistance to that. So you're still kind of clinging to an old way of doing things, even though if the old way of doing things is scrubbing the toilet with a toothbrush, even though now there's a better way for you to do it, or better use of your time and energy by doing it in a different way, there's a little bit of hesitation to move on from an old way of doing something. So let's just pull one card and see if there's any clarification on this situation that you are holding on to, or this belief system, this structure, this thought process. We've got the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So there has been a sense of holding on to it, but Five of Pentacles in reverse is moving on. It's that air of forgiveness and forgiveness and kind of some like overcoming your adversity and just moving on from that situation. And so that is going hand in hand with the Death in reverse, like the forgiveness part comes in, and then you're able to let go of whatever that thought pattern is. Now, remember, when we talk about forgiveness, that's not exclusively that you're forgiving somebody else for doing something. Sometimes it's also forgiving yourself for if it's destructive patterns, habits, behaviors, it's being able to forgive yourself so that you can move into a more collaborative type of scenario. The interesting thing with this card, and hoping that it'll kind of pull some, there you go. You can see it maybe a little bit in focus. Look at, there's the people that are looking on, and it's almost like with them being higher up, it's almost like they're your higher selves, but they're also in black and white. I mean, it's not black. I guess it's more of like a greenish color, but they're not in color. Down here, she's burst into full technicolor. So it's almost like there's people maybe that are watching you. So maybe they're not necessarily your higher selves, but there's people who are watching you. You're inspiring other people to step into the light, to step into something and see it a little bit differently. All right, let's see what we've got here. Worry. I'm learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. Yes, worry doesn't guarantee or fix tomorrow. It just robs you of today. So make sure that could be what it is that you've been clinging to. It's always, I have to worry about the future. What's the future going to look like? What if I do this? What if I do that? And that can be what your death card is about, is letting go of that worry, letting life unfold the way the river wants to flow. Stop trying to direct the river to go what way you want it to go. Let it flow and trust that it'll take you in the right direction. The Great Gathering, it's all coming together, intuitive hits and soul tribe. So you're worrying about the direction things are going, but it is all coming together the way it's supposed to in divine timing, divine order. And you just need to have that faith and that trust, air signs, that it is happening in the way that it's meant to happen. If you're struggling right now, you're meant to struggle so that you can learn from it, so that you can overcome it and be able to heal and ascend. All right. Then we have your past supports your future. And that's kind of what I was saying. And all of these cards, oh my gosh, look at all these purples in here. Your past supports your future. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, but I've made all these mistakes, those mistakes are helping to prop you up. They were steps that you needed to take along the way, so that way you would be ready when you get to this point in your life to be able to handle what's coming in. Sometimes, especially when we're manifesting, if we're thinking, oh, well, I want to manifest $1 million. It's not like, oh, here, if I just say this, 25 times a day for the next week, all of a sudden I'm going to log into my bank account. There's going to be $1 million in there. I feel like ads on the internet make it seem like that's how it goes. But the universe also needs to make sure that you're ready for what you're saying that you want. If you have zero money management skills whatsoever, that every time you get $100 in your pocket, you're out, blowing it on whatever and not really planning for the future, trying to manifest $1 million is not going to help, because you don't have those basic level of money management skills to be able to handle $1 million if it comes in. So sometimes if there's tough experiences or setbacks, that's kind of training you so that when the situation that's meant to be comes along, you're prepared for it and you don't screw it up, so to speak. So that's if you're running into challenges and struggles right now, it may help to reframe it under the context of, I'm learning the skills I need to learn right now, so that when life gives me what I am trying to manifest, or brings in that forever job, that forever partner, that whatever, I'm ready to be able to handle it in the right way. All right, next we are on to our fire signs. That is going to be our Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Let's see what we've got in store for you for today. We've got the Moon. So this card, remember, is about lies and illusions and trickery. And this can either be that you're lying or trying to pull one over on somebody, or somebody's doing that to you. A lot of times in the upright, it generally suggests that somebody else is the one doing it. In the reverse is oftentimes that it's self-delusion. But let's pull one more card here and see contextually what else do we need to know. Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords energy is kind of this no nonsense, cut away any of the fluff. It's kind of like she's using her sword of truth to slash away all of the BS. And that's going to be important to you as you go into today, looking at what are the illusions that are being held out in front of you and being pushed out there as being true. Now, you're in a place where already you have this kind of sense of frustration and burnout, and it's easier to fall for some of these illusions because if somebody in your energetic field is trying to manipulate you, you're more easily manipulated when you're worn out, when you're just exhausted, when you're depleted, and it's easier to be open to suggestion from somebody else. But this is the time when it's really important to use this Queen of Swords energy, this independent thinking, this how do I slash away any of the BS? How do I cut through whatever lies or illusions are out here because of the fact that I'm already worn out, I'm overextended energetically, and I'm just kind of burned out. So how do you cut through all of that to be able to get into a more collaborative place, to be able to be on mission in your life doing what you're here to do in this incarnation? All right, let's pull. Ooh, we had a card that jumped. It said honesty. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. And that is a good reminder. If somebody is not being honest with you, you can't control what they do, what they say, how they think about things. All you can control is you. How do you respond to that? Because how other people treat you is not a reflection of you, your worth, your value. It's a reflection of where are they on their journey. So if somebody in your energetic field is lying to you, manipulating you, do not internalize that as I'm a weak person, I'm a bad person, I'm inferior, I deserve to be mistreated. It's nothing to do with that. It is everything to do with where they are on their journey, that they don't have that self-love, self-respect, and so they're treating you poorly. And then we have peace. I am a being of love and I release all negative energy. As you are coming up against this energy, this dishonest energy, the illusions, the trickery, the deceit, all of that. As I said, you can't control what they're doing, but you can choose to sit in an energy of love and light. That does not mean be a doormat and let them continue to treat you poorly without consequence. That just means that you don't have to let their behavior change you into being a dishonest person, but see it for what it is and then choose the path that brings you peace and alignment. Soul family, call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. And if you are in a situation where you're being manipulated by somebody else or multiple other people, it could be a whole family structure, it could be a business structure, whatever it is, make sure that you're calling in your tribe. Your tribe has your back, and they will help give you the strength you need to advocate for yourself, to stand up for yourself, to replenish that energy so that you can make the right decision. Because as I said earlier, if somebody's manipulating you, they look to wear you down because you're more open to suggestion, I guess, when you are exhausted. The card that jumped was unstick the stuck. If you feel like, oh, I'm just stuck, I can't do anything about this. Oops. Yeah, right. Know that you can. And what this is saying is don't let yourself get stuck in this rut and in this cycle of being exhausted and then being manipulated and then continuing to be exhausted. Unstick that situation. And sacred mirrors. And this, sometimes when they talk about mirror teachings, it's not necessarily that the mirror reflects everything that's unhealed in you. The mirror looks forward at showing what is the next stage in, I guess, human evolution. So you have the ability to say, okay, if this bad energy is being focused at me, I can either return it with bad energy, or like the card says, sit in the energy of love. And if you can respond in love, that helps change the tide, even if it's just a little bit, for humanity and how we as a collective respond to things. All right. Now we are on to our earth signs. So that's going to be Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Let's take a look and see what we have in store for you for today. The Empress. This is going to be sitting in, this is that divine feminine energy, that inner wisdom, that higher consciousness, that loving energy. And let's pull one card here and see clarification on this situation and the Empress energy. Strength in reverse. This is that sense of burnout and weakness, and that you know, this is going along with this energy here where you're burned out, depleted. And with the Empress energy, that is saying call in on your higher consciousness, your inner wisdom. Call on that energy to help you navigate through this situation so that you can be sitting in that Three of Pentacles energy. Trust. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. This is that inner wisdom, higher consciousness. So really work on your meditating, and look at the blues in here matching up with Beverly's blue coat there. So really work on connecting to your guides and meditating and looking for that inner voice. Remember, fear and ego yells. Your inner voice and your inner wisdom and your intuition, they whisper. So you have to be able to quiet the loud noise to be able to hear the whisper in the room. Star Mother, how can you mother yourself? This is all about make sure that you're taking care of your inner child. If you're somebody who gives and gives, and you're an overgiver and a people pleaser, one of the ways that you need to reframe to be able to break that cycle is, put it this way, become a people pleaser of your inner child. So take a picture of you from when you were age, I'd say 2 to 4, because that tends to be like the super cute. So find one of those pictures, and whenever you're faced with, okay, am I going to really put all of this energy into, whatever situation? Look at that picture of yourself and ask yourself, who's taking care of this, child? Who's taking care of them? Who's fighting for her? Who's fighting for him? And make sure that you are your biggest advocate, that you are acting like that fierce, mama bear over your inner child. And fill up your cup with sacred giggles. This is kind of that reminder of things can get really heavy and they can burn you out. How do you sit in that energy of like playfulness and almost like that inner child energy, where you're sitting in that lighter, higher vibe energy? All right, that was for our earth signs. Last up, we have our water signs. So what messages want to come through for our water signs for today? And that is going to be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. The Hierophant. So this is going to be that traditional structure. It can be, sometimes it represents marriage or contracts, legal structures. It can also represent a mentor, guru, religious leader. So let's get a clarifier on that and what our water signs need to know. The High Priestess in reverse. And this is a little bit about some of that secrecy and deceit. So it kind of goes along with, or I guess that was one of the other readings, but there's some of this maybe secrecy and dishonesty and conceit that's coming in. And energetically, you want to make sure that you're not sitting in that sort of energy. So if that's coming in as it relates to some traditional structure, Don't let yourself think that just because I'm in this structure, it makes me better. That's the most desirable place for me to be. Like you have to, you have to be able to sit in that energy to say, okay, what value is this traditional structure bringing? Also, if you're reaching out to somebody, if this is more of a mentor, guru, leader type of a card, if you're seeking help, make sure you're being open to the answer. Let me pull one more card, since that's a little bit of muddled energy there. And then the World in reverse. There's something that you're not letting go of. Like, so the World in the upright is, it's triumph, it's victory, it's you fulfilled this cycle, you've ended this cycle. This is kind of like holding on to the past. And it's almost as it relates to traditional structure. So that's kind of coming across that maybe it's that if you're in a long-term relationship, kind of that, this song is popping into my mind from Alexandra Kay, and it was something, one of the lines in her song is, telling her dad, and he's like, we don't do divorce in this family. And it's almost like that sort of energy, like you're not able to close out this cycle because you're holding on to the past, and there's this sense of like secrecy, like you're burying what the situation is, and there's a little bit of that conceit of, well, no, we just don't do that because we have to be in this traditional structure. And even though it's burning you out and leaving you totally depleted, there's that air of, well, but I can't change it because this is just the way that we do things. We've always done things this way. And, work settings, we used to say that was like the worst answer you can give of why do you do things this way? Well, because we've always done it that way. Just because you've always done it that way doesn't mean it's the right way to continue to do it. So let's pull a soul journey card here. Relationships. I'm attracted to those people who serve my highest good. Now with this, remember, so if this is a long-term relationship or a marriage, you were attracted into that person because there's a lesson to be learned there. Now, remember, when it says people who serve my higher good, this doesn't say people who bring me warm and fuzzies every day. It says people who serve my higher good. Remember that any relationship that you're in, any significant relationship that you're in, there's a reason for it. Not every relationship is meant to be a forever relationship. Some of them are learning ones. And that's something that you have to realize. If you're avoiding learning a lesson because you're stuck in this belief of, well, but this is the only way to do it, that could be the lesson that you're supposed to learn this go around. And so until you're open to hearing what the universe is telling you that message is, you're going to keep looping. Oh, this one jumped out. Don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? And then deep replenishment. Retreat, rest, and be held. This, how are you dimming your light to fit in? That's really important, especially as it relates to this Hierophant structure. If this is that very traditional inside the box thinking, are you dimming your light so that you don't ruffle feathers? And your job in this incarnation, it's not to take up as little space and to, make sure that everybody else's feathers stay totally unruffled. You're here, you have specific goals, objectives, lessons that you're supposed to learn. And sometimes it's going to butt heads with other people's lessons. But that doesn't mean that you're supposed to dim to make them feel more comfortable. One step ahead is all you need. And this is that reminder, you don't have to go from here to here in one step. You can baby step your way along. And oftentimes it's just a matter of taking that first step. It could be scary, but taking that first step, having the courage to say, yes, I'm going to take this step. I may not know exactly how things are going to go, but I have the faith that it's going to take me in the right direction. So that is the message for our water signs. I hope that you found this to be helpful, but as always, take only what resonates and leave the rest. And I wish you peace and joy along your journey. Until next time.